That's quite going to have a crack. He is, you know. Oh, I say!
Messi. Oh, brilliant skill from Lionel Messi. Surging forward with real menace here. Brilliant from Messi. Oh, what a goal that is!
Good morning, Savva here from Football Heritage TV. Hope everybody is well. A lovely sunny day this morning, and it's almost a bit too hot. But this is a Monday morning chat with Savva. Before anyone says anything, yes, I know I need to change the Harry Kane picture for the Monday morning show. It will be changed later today. But big up, the season is underway. And believe it or not, it's just like we've all forgotten that the transfer window is still open. So the transfer window is open, but the season is underway, and we started with a respectable point, right? Away at a very difficult team to beat. We saw very early on in the game plan of both teams. Spurs are going to be a team that dominate the football. Spurs are going to be a team that high press. Spurs are going to be a team that want possession and that push up. We saw very quickly Brentford were going to be a team that did the complete opposite of that. And that's their prerogative. But it's a rude awakening into when teams sit back, when teams defend with that many men, how can you break them down? And that is what Spurs will evolve into. But for me, lots of positives. I've got a video coming out a bit later about how there were definitely more positives than negatives. I like to balance it, though. I think it's important to talk about both. But for me, the negatives are all things that can be ironed out. The negatives are all things where you go, hang on, this is game one, right? This is game one of the season with a new philosophy. And as I said, we've played no football for nearly 4 years, not 5 years. Nothing on the pitch that resembles a footballing plan. Just lots of sitting back behind the ball and counter-attacking, which, yes, it is a plan, but it doesn't require all the players to think comfortably on their feet. It doesn't require the players to press. It doesn't require the players to know what they're going to do next time they get the ball. So for me, lots of positives. What did you think? What's your overriding feeling this morning? I'm happy with that point. You always want 3. I thought we were going to nick it 3-2, but Perchian has actually called it. They said it was going to be 2-2. But listen, better teams have gone to Brentford and not won. So it is what it is. TB said, get well soon. Now, listen, I was just feeling under the weather yesterday. I'm good now. I'm good. Got a bit of a cough, got a bit chesty, but other than that, good. So thank you very much for that. Sue said, I hate Monday mornings. Oh, I like Monday mornings, Sue. I like them. Phil said, good morning, Savva. How about a change of the template to show a Spurs play? Yeah. I just haven't got round to it. I've been doing so much lately. I need to change that one. Don't worry, it is coming. Tigaro, the single parent theory, has said, we, Spurs, don't deserve anything. We need to work our backsides off and take every opportunity. Morning, Savva. Morning, chat. Good morning to you as well. Craig Henshaw is in the house. Good morning to you. Leo Land, Lego, good morning to you. Yeah, good finish by Royal. Obviously, we'll get into that. Paul Hancock's in the show as always. Big up to you, Paul. Your boys are playing tonight, of course. What are you thinking? We'll talk about that a tiny bit later. Marshall said, morning. Hopefully some good transfer news today. Well, we're going to get into that because I feel like in the last sort of 48 hours, the transfer window is ticking down, but because the season started, it was almost kind of forgotten for a brief moment in time. But we don't play for a week. And in that week, we need to see some movement, right? I think yesterday showed us still where we need a few bodies, but we'll get into it. Vinny's here. George is here. Big up to George. Big up to Spurs Psych as well, channel member. Norman Stanley Fletcher, big up to you. Mr. Context. Thank you. Eamon, good morning. Sean Hobbers is here. Scott Collar is here. They're both channel members. I could watch that goal all day long. Just an absolute brilliant goal. Hit the bar. Big up to you. Good morning to you. Theatre of Dreams is here. Blissy's here. Graham Gilbert. Linda Ferguson. There's a lot of people in here. Hennessy. We're slowly creeping towards the. We're slowly creeping towards the 10,000, but slowly. Well, actually, quite quickly, actually. But yeah, so if anyone did want to subscribe, unlike the person who's just unsubscribed, to make it take it back down to 9,600. We're there. We're bang on. Look, this is good, isn't it? We're there now. So 9,600. Let's get to 10K. Big up to everyone. Morning to Paulism in the chat. Phil P, feeling much better today, mate. Yeah. I got colour back in my face. I did feel a little bit ropey yesterday. Fair play to Haz and Perchy for carrying the show, to be honest. I didn't really have a lot to offer, but I'm back fighting fit today. Guys and girls, so let me know your thoughts in the chat. First of all, let's start with this. First of all, was their penalty a penalty? Because this is another one where I'm seeing lots of people messaging me in my comments going, it was a blatant penalty. Other people saying it's as soft a penalty as you ever see. What did you make of the penalty situation? I mean, I would say that it's one of those that if we get it, you're happy with it, right? But when it's given against you, is that really a penalty? Really? Let me know in the chat and we'll get to that. Zoe, big up to you, said, would love to know your thoughts on Sanchez potentially staying and Dyer leaving. I don't want either of them at the club. I'm going to be brutally honest. I don't want either of them at the club. Ali Gold came out last night and said that there was no truth in the rumours that Dyer is leaving. But look, at some point they've got to go, right? At some point they've got to be moved on. We can't keep having the same defenders year after year and then wondering why we're not progressing. So for me, but yesterday did show immediately, didn't it? It did show that you can't just bring in Van der Ven. If you lose Van der Ven, straight away, Sanchez or Dyer comes into that back line. So for me, I think it shows that you've definitely got to go and get another centre-back or two. But we'll see, won't we? We'll see. Tom says Sanchez can do one like Dyer. I agree. He's not a player for me. I think sometimes when a player has a better performance than normal, we suddenly think that they should be kept. He's not for me. Come on, guys and girls, smash that subscribe button. Not one subscriber so far this morning. Smash that button. Be nice. I'm going to put the link in the chat. And let's move forward towards that 10K as quickly as possible, shall we? Just an ego thing. I'll be brutally honest. I have my targets and we're well on our way to them. So good morning to Sander, who's in the chat as well. Lots of people, lots of comments, same thing, taking a shot. I haven't seen anyone have a dig yet. Kim Byrne, big up to you. I said, that's just the beginning of Ange Ball. Watch the passing and the ball speed over the ground increase over the coming weeks. I think there's a lot to be said for that. Look, it's game one. It's game one, right? And this is what you've got to do. We've got to settle into a pattern of play. I think a lot of people took a pop at his early morning, his early morning, his early tactics, but it was game one. I think we've got to remember that. We haven't had the best preseason in terms of preparation, in terms of game time. The players that didn't have a lot of energy in their legs, you could see that, I think, towards the end of the game. I think as we get 4, 5, 6 games into the season, I think we will be much better. But listen, it was nice to see a Tottenham team have the ball. It was nice to see a Tottenham team have the ball. I have put the link in the chat, people. So thank you very much if anyone did want to subscribe. And it will be the pinned comment as well. So big up to each and every one of you. Much appreciated. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate all the support. I know I can be argumentative and combative, but hey, that's my channel. That's what we are. The Ange Express and the Football Heritage TV Bullet Train are both motoring away. I'm not sure about that, Phil, but thank you for the kind words. Right, let's have a look for the penalty. Lucas said it was a soft penalty. I agree. Eltel, big up to you, Eltel. Said no pen. Tom, no pen. Scott Colliver said, yes, it was a pen. But this is the question, right? Is AJS 1988 channel member, big up to you, said the same. Yeah, if it is reversed, we're asking for a penalty, right? I get it. It's just soft. It's such a soft penalty. But hey, it is what it is. Let's have a look at this. 1 second. Yeah. Leon said no penalty. Lucas has said he even held his wrong ankle. It was very soft. Yeah, for me, I think it was a bit soft. Hennessy has said, I think there's a soft penalty, but in accordance with the rules, he only made the contact with the player and not the ball, so it is a penalty. There's a lot to be said for that. A lot to be said for how silly the rules are, right? Let's be brutally honest. Thank you to that one person that just subscribed to get me to 9,601. Come on, guys and girls. Let's get at least 10 of you. Nick said 100% was a penalty. The issues was VAR and the time it took as per usual. Oh, yeah, VAR just killing football, man. I hate it. I hate everything about it. Football was so much more fluid and easy on the eye when we didn't have to stop. Like, even when I was watching the Chelsea-Liverpool game, you know, obviously there were 2 offside goals in that game, which granted were both offside, but no one celebrates. Like, people score goals, no one celebrates because they know every little thing is going to be challenged. Jessica said, if we bringing in 3 more players, centre back, forward, do you prefer the third to be a number 6 or a fullback? Eva, I've gone on record. I said we desperately need a right back. I know a lot of people like Royale. I don't think he's a very good footballer in any way at all. I would personally like a fullback, but I think you can get away with having a bad player like that in the team if you've got a number 6. So it's kind of like either or, right? Gwyn doesn't think it was a penalty. Phil Coys has said, morning, Savva. Played really well yesterday without creating an awful lot. Lots of positives to take from it, though. Yeah, Van de Ven, Doji, Basuma, Madison were the standouts. I agree with every sentence of that. We'll get into Van de Ven in a minute. We'll talk about Basuma and Madison as well, because the way I see it is we've basically got a brand new midfield this year, because I thought Basuma was so atrociously mismanaged last year. He does feel like the proverbial new player. Aaron Myers is in the chat and said, morning, Savva. Thought we were a better team in the game of 2 halves. I think technically it's a penalty, but a soft one. Yeah, I could go along with that. Dashmeth has said it was not good. It was not enough of a pen to go to VAR and change the decision. I think this comes down to, doesn't it, mate? What are the rules? VAR used to be if it was a clear and obvious error. Now it's just VAR is used for absolutely everything and anything. Zebedee has said no pen because it could have gone either way, but it wasn't a clear and obvious error, so should have gone. I agree. This is what I just said. This is the problem, right? Are we just doing clear and obvious errors, or are we literally now every decision needs to be reassessed? Are we at the point where you don't even need a referee? Like, it's just crazy. Brazigel has said, I think flange impossible. No clue should have used. Well, that's a bit silly. Come on, let's not call him that. That's really, really silly. I'm not going to read that out. Hennessy has said, at Damash, I definitely think VAR shouldn't have got involved. Like, the ref made his decision. It undermines the ref. Agree. Phil Coys has said, no penalty for me. Not enough for him to go down like that. Also delayed his fall when he was contacted. Lee Smith has said, unfortunately, it was a pen. And I think they gave because Sonny made contact with the ankle, not the ball. Yeah, listen, there's lots of ways to look at this. I just feel that without VAR, it's just that you carry on, right? This is what I think people get frustrated about with VAR. Back in the old day, can you imagine that being given as a penalty 20 years ago, 15 years ago? People would have been like, get up. What's wrong with you? Do you know what I mean? Like, get up. That's not a pen. Some of the crunching tackles. Zoe said, completely agree. I think we should do someone left-footed. I think Adoji will be good there. I just worry so much about the right-hand side. Him and Kulu do nothing to inspire me with any confidence as a right-side pairing, but we'll get into that a bit later. Bandit has said, Savva Basuma is looking like the best single pivot in the league. I mean, yeah, look, it's one game in, but he is a beast. He's a very good player, isn't he? He really, really is. I did Savva for pace on the subs link. Thanks very much, Phil. Big up to you. One of the good guys is Phil P. Ian Barron, good morning to you and everyone watching. Hope you're well and had a great weekend. Big up. Thank you, Ian. Always a big supporter of the channel. Scare has said, what's up, Savva? I really enjoyed the game. I think we all would have taken the point beforehand. We need a centre-back and we need tricky wingers that can get past their man. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think, listen, it was just nice to see us have the ball. It was really nice. I mean, 70% possession throughout an entire game. Absolutely madness. Thank you to the 2 people that subscribed and then immediately unsubscribed. I've got the weirdest followers ever. Like people come in, they subscribe, and then they unsubscribe within a minute. So we're back. We've gone to 9602, then back to 9600. Thank you, everybody. I agree, Swanix. I agree. This is the problem. I agree with this. A lot of these tackles do look like penalties in slow motion. Agreed. Football isn't played in slow motion. It's played in real time. Bush Ranger said, everyone belittles our defence, which is justified because we're awful there, but our attacking front three are just as awful. We need reinforcements there, maybe more than we need at the back. We're going to talk about this very shortly. Let's move on to this. We've had a negative in the penalty. Let's go to some positives first. For me, without a doubt, the best two players on the park were Basuma and Maddison. For me, only for me. I'm not making everyone else think that way. You've got your proverbial box-to-box ball-carrying midfielder in Basuma, who's got a bit of everything to his game. Fantastic engine. And then you've got James Maddison, who always wanted the ball. Sorry, it's going to turn my fan off. Who always wanted the ball. He always showed for it. He was always available. He was looking to make things happen. And I just think him and Basuma make such a difference. And I wouldn't change those two. Those two have to be two of the first names on the team sheet. For me, these are the important. Those two, Van der Ven and Romero, they're the important ones. For me, that four there. I think the rest of them should all fight out for their places. But I thought those two were absolutely superb. Who would you say man of the match? Would you disagree with me about the right back? About Basuma and Maddison being superb? Is there anyone else? Phil Pierce said, get Savva and the channel to 10K ASAP. I reckon if we can do it by Wednesday, I can twist Savva's arm to grab a Nando's with me on Thursday. Hashtag Nando's agenda. Phil, I will, of course, come and meet you for a Nando's. Of course I will, but only if we get to 10K and only if you pay. Definitely, mate. We'll do a Nando's. We're 395 away, so I don't know if it will happen by Wednesday. That's a lot to happen in 3 days, but I like your confidence. Blue Collar Sports has said, as a neutral, I enjoyed Spurs' approach. Just felt you looked toothless. Yeah, I can go with that. I think it was a big mistake signing Kulu. I agree with that. I'd have used the money for a different option on the right. I agree with that. I think that I said it in the summer and I took a lot of heat. For me, I think there was no need to buy both Porro and Kulu. It didn't make sense to me. I think you could get away with one of them. And I would much rather see Porro on the right than Kulu. I'm going to say it, but we'll get to that in a minute. Basuma and Maddison, guys and girls, let me know what you think. And I can get some of these comments about them. I just think they were both brilliant. James Maddison, for me, already 2 assists in one game. A fantastic delivery for the goal. When did we fantastic delivery. I know Perisic has got a good cross on him, but that was such a lovely whipped-in ball. And Romero ghosted in there, just kept himself on side, and then a real shame he had to go off. I was looking forward to seeing the Romero-Van der Ven partnership, and I think we got to see it for about 12 minutes, which is unfortunate, but he should be back for next week, right? I think it was some mild concussion. He'll be back for next week. AJS has said 70% possession has put some colour in your cheeks. Listen, I just like watching teams have the ball. I really, really do. Is there breaking news about Spurs? I'm not sure. I can see. So I've got Sky Sports on in the background. I can see that they've got Spurs in the background. Breaking news. And Everton have signed Jack Harrison on a season-long loan for Leeds. I thought he was going to Villa last time I saw last night. Looks like Jack Harrison's going to Leeds United. The news overnight as well. Lots of news overnight. James Ward-Prowse has signed for West Ham, 30 million. Then for 115 million, Chelsea have got Moises Caicedo. It's a big signing. Is a good player. Him and Enzo Fernandez will be a tough midfield to break down. Enzo Fernandez, by the way, what a footballer that boy is. That is a footballer and a half. I'm just going to put it out there. And then off the back of that, Tyrone Mings. Apparently, Tyrone Mings has sustained a long-term injury during their defeat to Newcastle at the weekend. So it looks like Villa might go back into the market for a centre-half. Other than that, that's where we are. I don't think there's been too many big signings overnight. I think Neymar, lots of reports about Neymar going have had a huge bid from Al Hilal, which is absolutely crazy. Brighton are buying a midfielder called Carlos Baleba. He's going to replace Moises Caicedo. You know he's just going to be good. He plays for Lille. You just know he's going to be good. Brighton do their homework. We should go and buy him. If Brighton want him now, we should do it. We should do it. Who reckons we should just nip in and go, hang on, yeah, if they've scouted him, he's going to be good. Kepa has joined Real Madrid on loan for the season. Kepa to Real Madrid off the back of the ACL injury that Thibaut Courtois made. Man City are preparing a new bid for Lucas Paqueta. So it's all happening. It's all happening. Yeah, Tyrone Mings has got a significant injury, apparently. And James Ward-Prowse, as we said just then, has signed. So it's all happening. But listen, guys and girls, we have got a week before our next game. And we need to start seeing some players come in. Where are we? Let's get... we're going to talk about Kulu in a bit. We will talk about Kulu in a bit. Just want to concentrate on the positives at the moment. Yeah, Christopher, you never know. You never know with my other half what time the Amazon delivery is going to come. But it is what it is. And I think you all know by now, if I do nip away, it will literally be for 10 seconds. Eltel, big up Eltel, really good guy. Said for the first time in 4 years, I wasn't hiding behind the sofa, chewing nails, having palpitations and swearing profusely. It was nice. It was nice watching the game, seeing us have a lot of the ball. Yes, it's not going to be free-flowing, tiki-taka, Barcelona-style football in game one, but it was lovely seeing us have the ball. I agree. I truly believe if you get a good number 6 in there with Maddison, with Basuma, I think that's a really, really good midfield three. I really, really do. Big up everyone. There's 584 of you in here. Keep smashing that like button, please, people. It's the first time I've asked in 25 minutes, so please do. Only 145 likes so far, so let's get that up to 300 as quickly as possible. And please keep subscribing. Let's set the target today, shall we, let's set the target today of 9,625. So if we can get 20 more people to subscribe, the link is in the chat. It would be much appreciated. Let's get some of your comments about Basuma and Maddison before we move on to talk about the front three, because I think that will be a bit of a lively conversation. The running order of today's show, we've talked about the penalty. We're talking about Basuma and Maddison. Then we're going to talk about the front three. And then we're going to talk about Mickey van der Ven and all the goals. All right. Good morning to you as well. I would do this. Yes, I would. I would take Tyler Adams and put him in there. I think Tyler Adams and Basuma in a midfield too, with Maddison in front of them, I think would be brilliant. Just my opinion. £20 million as well. It's nothing, is it? It's absolutely nothing in this day and age. Terry said, I love Ange, but he dug a bit of a hole for himself, putting Son as captain. He really has to start him now, warranted or not. We're going to talk about that. We definitely will talk about it for sure. Good morning, Jim. Big up to you, my friend. I hope you're well. Big up to Kate as well. Big up Savva. Dyer is going to Saudi. I don't think he is. I think they said last night that there was no truth in the matter. Nebo. When is Brian Hill coming back? I'd quite like to see how he would do under Ange. It'll be interesting. He's very different to the others, right? So it'll be interesting. Billy, big up Billy Andrews, said Adoji and Basuma class. VDV, once he's settled in, is going to be immense. Still need a striker, another centre-back, and an upgrade on Royal and Porro. I wouldn't disagree with any of that, to be honest. I don't rate any of the right-backs at this football club, but we'll see. Darmish said Spurs played well yesterday. Brentford was good too. I think Spurs need at least one more striker. Brentford were very compact. They were very hard to beat, and they executed their game plan brilliantly. Now, do I like that style of football? No, I can't say that I do. But they executed it correctly, and it is what it is. Ron Scully has said Spurs too emotional over players. Get Son and Kulu out the 11. We're going to talk about those two and Richie in a minute. Just going to get some of the Basuma Maddison comments. Derek has said Basuma, Maddison, Sarr, mustard midfield. Yeah, was anyone a bit surprised to see Skip start instead of Sarr? I think Sarr's a much better footballer than Skip, but for some reason Skip keeps getting the nod by every manager. But Hey, that's just me. Liam has said Maddison was quality. Such a skilled player. We are fortunate to have him and Basuma in this midfield. Chuck Bentancur into that three and you've got a very solid midfield. Don't disagree with that. Be interesting to see what happens when Bentancur comes back. Nebo said, we will leak goals, but fortunately we can score. I think that's a fair assessment. Lee has said, Basuma as man of the match. Biss was and is the boss. I really think he's good. I really do think he's good. See, now I might be tempted, John. I'll be brutally honest. What I might be tempted to do, if Son and Kulu keep playing the way they have in pre-season, keep playing like they did yesterday, I'd be tempted to have Lo Celso and Maddison and have one of them as a kind of force wide man that floats in and out, and they can keep interchanging. I just don't think Kulu and Son offer enough. I really don't, but we're going to talk about that. The Son conversation, the Kulu conversation, it gets me in trouble. But at the end of the day, I can only say what I see. And what I saw was both of them were really poor. Again, really poor. Jim has said, Savva, I really enjoyed the game. Some really good points and a few bad points. But overall, I was encouraged with what we saw. We are heading the right way. I can't disagree with that. I agree. Listen, I think that some of the analysis I saw yesterday, I think was a bit harsh considering it was game one. You know, I feel like Ange is going to be under pressure from minute one because everyone's analysing every sub, the tactics, everything. It's like, as he said afterwards, it's a team in transition. It's a team that's learning its craft. And this is what happens when you have 4 years of Jose and Conte. Lucas has said, as soon as the ball got to Maddison, you just saw that something was going to happen. Yeah, I like Maddison. I think he's a quality player. I've wanted him since he was at Aberdeen. I've wanted him since he was at Coventry. I just think he's a really good player, makes things happen, scores, assists. I think he's going to be just fine. Bam Bandit says he's a United fan and he would take Maddison over Bruno and Mount. I definitely wouldn't swap him. That's for sure. Dominic has said, when's Bentancur back? Bentancur, he's back in training, but I'm not sure. It was a long old injury. I mean, what was he out for? 8 months? Was it 8 months he was injured for? I think it's a long old injury, so they'll just have to nurse him back. I mean, Rico Henry, yeah, a bit more of a left back, but again, I thought at times last night, I thought he absolutely took Royal to the cleaners. I thought he had a field down that left-hand side. Underrated player, Rico Henry, very underrated player. Christopher has said Kulu has no end product. We're going to talk about it. Hit the bar, said Bentancur, Maddison, Basuma, going to be a good midfield. Big up to everyone who smashed that like button. We're now on 191 likes. Let's get that up to 300 as quickly as possible, people. And thank you to everybody who has subscribed so far. We're one away from 9,610. So let's see if we can get that to 9,625. If I can do 25 a show, then by the end of the day, should be on about 9,675 and might be able to go and meet Phil P for the Nando's. Phil has said, if you get to 10K subs, it could be your round in Nando's. It's always my round in it, Phil. But we can debate that when you get there. Big up to you, mate. Big up to you. I'm looking forward to seeing you again. Paul said, it's baffling to me that United didn't go for Maddison rather than Mount and Arsenal rather than Havertz. Do you know what? I agree. The only thing I can think of is Maddison must play in that hole. That's where he plays, right? And from an Arsenal perspective, that's where Odegaard plays. Now, I'm not saying Havertz is a good player, but what Havertz can do is he can play in multiple positions. I'm not saying he's great in those multiple positions, but he can play from the wings. He can play as a false nine, as an attacking midfielder. I think that can be the only reason, because otherwise, I agree with you, Paul. You'd much rather Maddison than Havertz. But hey, listen, if Arsenal win the league and Havertz plays every game, you can't complain. Listen, top managers keep buying this player. Top clubs keep buying him. Tigaro, single parent theory, big up. They said the Richie hate is a little unfair. Objective. I mean, I haven't said anything about him yet. By the way, we haven't got to Richie yet. Objectively, the two on his flanks are not helping. Sonny has lost pace and Kulu looks lost. Energy and better service, e.g. Solomon and Perisic, would help him a lot. We are going to get to this, I promise. We are going to get to this. Gavin Eastman has said, correct, Basuma and Maddison dominating the midfield, which we've been missing for years. It's just so nice to have a playmaker in there. It's so nice to have a playmaker. Phil Pierce said, did you see that we had more touches in the attacking third than any game last season? Doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me. It's what happens when you've got Conte or Postecoglou. Wow, is this true? Are Chelsea going to get Lavia and Caicedo? Lavia, Caicedo, and Enzo Fernandez. That's a midfield 3.5, isn't it? Wow. You knew at some point Chelsea were just going to ramp it up. But even Enzo Fernandez and Caicedo as the pivot, as it's called these days, I just call it a midfield partnership. He's strong. Enzo's such a lovely ball player. He's so comfortable on the ball. Wonderful array of passing. Now sticking Caicedo next to him. Very, very good. Good morning to you, Tony. I hope you're well over there in Banbury. Howard Vale, big up to you, has said Tanganga, White, Reggie, Spence, Hugo, Tungai are all available to leave Spurs this month at Tom Barkley. Yeah, I would add a few more names to that list. I would suggest that Sessegnon's probably saved from the fact that he's injured. Sorry. Really thirsty. So I was really unwell yesterday, and I'm okay today, but I've got a real I'm quite husky anyway, but today is just really disgusting. Mr. Post Office has said Savva, Romano had another stinker. Harrison was never going to Villa. No one else said that. Romano just pulled it out of nowhere. Everyone else said Everton. Tamer just said, I thought Sanchez played great considering he was thrown in last minute. Biss was a monster. Maddison was great. I think Richie was let down by some very ordinary wingers. There's a lot to be said for this. Should we move into this conversation? Yes. I just don't think I don't think Unai Emery is that silly. I don't. I truly do. He's a very good manager. I just can't imagine he would want Eric Dyer playing next to Pau Torres, which could have nearly been our centre-half pairing over the last few years. Abe, big up to Abe, said, hey, Sav, I tend to agree with you on the Porro thing. However, I have my doubts about whether he can actually be a forward, having played most of his career at the back. Listen, I agree with you. Listen, if I'm brutally honest, I don't like that right side. I don't like any of it. I don't like the Kulu, Porro, Royal, Spence. I don't really think there's a lot there. I would play Solomon on the right rather than him. I would give Solomon a go. I think he's different. I think he can twist and turn his fullback inside out. He can go on the right. He can come on the left. I think he's just different. Problem was, I mean, anyone who saw us doing the watch along yesterday, how many times did I say Kulu's got it back on his left, pass inside? It was like, oh my God, if I know he's going to do it, if you know he's going to do it, then the defenders certainly know he's going to do that. Hi, Savva, what's your predictions against the Spurs and Man United game? At home, I reckon 2-2. I reckon another 2-2 at the moment. I think Man United are strong. We'll have had an extra week to work on the game, though. We might have some new players in. I don't know. Probably a bit too early for me to predict. But at the moment, ask me again Friday. Ask me again Friday, Sam. But big up to you. What signing do you think we have to bring in to go to the next level? I still think we need a right back. I think we need a proper DM. And I think we need a forward player, possibly a centre-back. I think if you want to go to the next level, but I do think that it won't all be done in one window. New Spurs data-led scouting technique equals copy Brighton's homework. You watch. This bloke they're going to buy from Lille. I've never seen him play. Bet you he can play. I bet you he's a really good player. Where is Strasbourg Steve when we need him? Steve, anyone out there who watches the French league, what is this guy like? Sorry, what's his name again? His name is Carlos Baleba or Baleba, B-A-L-E-B-A. Anyone know what this guy is like? And guys and girls, smash the like button. 220 likes, 700 of you in here. Just under 700 of you in here. Come on, people. It means nearly 500 of you haven't bothered to just press a tick. Come on. It really does help. Basuma reminding me of Dembele. Yeah, I look. when you watch him this season compared to what he was doing last year, just chalk and cheese. Chalk and cheese. Big up to absolutely everybody. Thank you to the 12 people who have subscribed so far this show. I really do appreciate it. Honestly, the 10K milestone is like a monkey off the back for YouTubers. Big up. I've seen Henry get there lately. I've seen Sean get past there lately. And yeah, I want to get there. Big up. Got some more super chats. Jerome said a midfield of Bentancur, Basuma, and Matters is going to be lethal. Yeah, as I said, I think the one thing for me is going to be what's Bentancur going to be like when he comes back? How long will it take him to get involved? Would he be the 6? Would Basuma be the 6? Would they both just kind of alternate? But yeah, it does look like a nice midfield three with a lot of different skill sets. I think Bentancur's more your stylish, typical foreign midfielder, if you will. You know, gets the ball down, likes to conduct, pass it about. Basuma's your box-to-box midfield, energy, drives the ball forward. And Maddison's your cherry on the top that can link up with the forwards and score and assist. So, yeah, absolutely good midfield three. And Jerome has said, first game against a low-block team, completely nullify our striker. What are Kulu and Son meant to do? I can't say they both put a foot wrong, except that they did not have much space to move. Jerome, listen, thank you so much for the super chat. I'm sorry, I can't agree with that at all. I can't agree with that at all. What are they meant to do? Well, maybe Kulu doesn't have to cut in on his left-hand side every time. And maybe Sonny can trust something. Like they just didn't take their men on. I don't think they did anything. I think they're both very good in counter-attacking teams. I don't know if they're both going to be good in possession-based teams. We're going to see. But sorry, I'm not gonna let them off with that excuse. For me, I'm seeing a lot of games now where I don't think they do a lot and they keep getting stuck up for. Agree, Savva, over Skip every day of the week. Yeah, I was surprised. I did think Skip was a bit anonymous yesterday as well. Listen, I think he's looked a lot better when he's ghosting in and he's running through to the midfield box. To the opposition box. My question mark with Ollie Skip has always been, how good is he as a footballer? When he's got the ball at his feet, how good is he? Excuse me. Hey, we're going to find out. But for me, I would definitely put Papa Matassar in front of him. That's just me. It's only me, right? I can only go by that. Mike Rogers said, right now, Porro offers more threat than Kulu. Yeah, as I said, I'd actually play Solomon there. But the Bradical guy, great name. I said, for me, Lo Celso over Skip. I would have Sarr or Lo Celso in there over Skip. I would definitely. I feel like he's just that next level down for me, Skippy. I just don't think he's good. Absolutely, Liam. Nice to watch us on the front foot again. Danny, big up to you, Dan. Hope you're well, my friend. Said Son was terrible. Nowhere near captain material. And as a left winger, he is finished. Guys, let's talk about the front three. Look, I can't even separate them. I just thought they were all really poor, if I'm brutally honest. I thought Richarlison, listen, it's tough. You're playing against a low block, but it's where you need to be a bit cleverer, right? It's where he needs to then drop slightly, come and get the ball, not just always back into the defenders. It's where he needs to make those runs in behind. He was poor. I thought Kulu on the right-hand side, I just think he is so predictable. I think every now and then that trick is going to work. Cutting on your left, whip it round the keeper. Every now and then he will score some goals. But all round, if I'm a fullback, I'm happy, right? If you were the left back, who was the left back yesterday for Brentford? Can't think of his name off the top of my head. Comfortable game, right? Didn't really have to do a lot against Kulu. So for me, I thought he was poor. Sonny, just another nothingy game. I wouldn't go as far to say that he was really, really poor, but he didn't do anything. Like, I just felt like he didn't take ownership. He didn't, I don't know. Him and Kulu just don't scream to me that they work as wide players. As I said before, I'd put Solomon on the right. I would have Sonny down the middle, and I would have Perisic on the left. That's what I would do. But hey, that's just me. That's just me. Angus, did you see? I mean, best three wingers in the world right now is a bit of a leap, but yeah, great goal. I think Saka's definitely, as I've said before, he's on a nice little trajectory. Give him time. Let's not put players on these pedestals. This is what we do. We put them on the pedestals, but the best wingers in the world, the best players in the position in their world, wouldn't have tailed off the way Saka did last season. When you needed him the most, he wasn't there. I'm not knocking him. But that's the difference between when we call players world-class and want to call them elite and players being good. He's a very good player, Saka. Chalk and cheese from Kulu, by the way. Look at Saka, look at Kulu. Is there any Spurs fan anymore that would have Kulu over Saka? Be honest with me. Christopher Kirk said, without Kane, you need goals by committee. Kulu, 5 goals max. Listen, I think we will sort ourselves out. I think the first game, obviously, without Kane, it was always going to be highlighted. But that front three just didn't inspire, did it? But it was only one game. It was only one game. Sean has said Bentancur is reportedly back in December. Yeah, he's going to have a long road ahead. He really is. And the breaking news is that Al Hilal have signed Neymar. Neymar, what a waste, is going out to play in Saudi Arabia. It is what it is. Such a shame. That man had the world at his feet. He lit up the new camp. And then went to PSG, which I thought was a bit of an easy move at that age. Now he's going to Al Hilal. It's why I don't ever put him in the greats. I think a talented footballer who, for me, took a lot of easy roads. But good player, and good luck to him out there. And publicly defended Richarlison, but not sure. Yeah, look, he's going to, isn't he? Look, there will be games where it works when teams don't play a low block. On another day, you get 3 or 4 goals yesterday. But, you know, it's tough, isn't it? It's a tough one. When they play a low block, is Richarlison that guy to unsettle that low block? I don't know if he is. Philly 2109 has said Bentancur is not a 6. It restricts his game. I agree with that. I don't want Spurs doing an Enoch special of round peg square holes. I agree with that. Buy a number 6, Sangare for a protracted 31 million, a no-brainer. I agree with that. Philly, how would you feel about Tyler Adams at 20 million? I just think that seems like an absolute no-brainer to me. But that's what I would do. But what do I know? What do I know? Dean said, I think he's due back in 2 months. Yeah, he's going to be, mid-August now, September, October. I think it'll be November, December time that we see him back. Mr. Post Office said Lavia's going to Liverpool, not Chelsea. I mean, what I did notice yesterday, the Liverpool-Chelsea game was quite wide open. What I did notice is both teams need a DM. Would you agree with me? I know we're not Chelsea-Liverpool fans, but I thought both teams played some nice stuff, but needed a DM. So I think Chelsea getting in Caicedo to add power to that midfield, but I think Liverpool do as well. I think they desperately need a Tyler Adams or a Lavia. I truly believe that. Thank you so much to everyone who's subscribed. We're only 7 away from the 9,625 now, so please do smash that subscribe button and keep liking. We're on 274 likes and there's 715 of you in it, and you're all very, very welcome to be here as well. How can Chelsea just keep spending, do you mean, at this rate? I don't know. I'm not getting involved in the Chelsea money conversation, but they're going out and doing what they need to do. Strasbourg Steve said, one thing I would say, Savva, from watching Solomon at Shakhtar, is that he was very good at left wing. Can't remember him playing right wing. Not saying he can't, just saying I haven't seen him do. Mate, listen, do you know what? Cool. I can go with that. I just would like to see him in the team for something different. I've said this for a while now. I've become a little bit bored of watching Kulu and Son play on the wings. I think a lot of fullbacks now are working them out. I think slowly but surely they've been found out a little bit. And I think if you're a winger that has one trick, people will get that trick. I'll tell you a player who had one. He didn't have one trick, but he had the best trick of all was Arjen Robben. Right? But the difference was Arjen Robben was world class and you couldn't stop that trick. I think with these two, you can stop the trick. Just say it's just my fault. I'm not going to apologise for them either. Nebo has said 10K will be achieved by the end of the week. Well, we'll see. We'll see. We get there slowly but surely. Michael has said, does yesterday's lineup suggest that Dyer is finally done at Spurs? I don't know. Something's happened there over the weekend, doesn't it? Something has really happened there, but I'm not sure what it is. We will find out. Danny, big up to you, has said, Basuma is going to be our best player all season. I've said he's quality since Brighton. Mate, do you know what? When he was at Brighton, I just thought, what a player. And then we signed him and put him into a kind of 10 men behind the ball type game. And it just wasn't his game at all, was it? It's not him. He needs to be given license to go and have complete autonomy of that midfield area. Give Porro a chance. I would give Porro a chance as a wide forward. I don't think he can defend. I just don't think he can defend. Sorry, that's just me. El Dante has said, good morning, Savva. Big up to you. Hope you're feeling better than yesterday. I am. Thank you very much. I am. Thank you. Big up to you, El Dante. Foxy has said, Belieber, is it Belieber or Beleba? Is a pretty versatile midfielder. Can play box to box or holding. Still only a kid, though. But that's what Brighton like, innit? Get them in young. What, they'll buy him for what? Was it 20 million, 15 million, 11, whatever that just said? And, you know, they'll sell him on for about 80 or 90 in about 2 years' time. They're just brilliant. Bad the baby. Yeah, listen, I thought Chelsea started really slow. And then I thought you played some really nice stuff. I like Chukwuemeka. I think that he's definitely going to grow into a very good midfielder. I thought Gallagher did well, actually, driving forward, going and supporting. Jackson is lively. Sterling, I thought, actually had quite a good game. And Enzo, I think, is really good. Look, what you've got, something we haven't got, is Chilwell and James on either side. You just know what you're going to get. You know you're going to get solid performances. They can both defend and they can both attack. Still work to be done, but I do think Poch, I've said it all summer, I do think Poch will have you playing good football, playing once a week. I think you're going to be very similar to Spurs this year in that effect. But listen, Caicedo coming in really does help you. Jim has said, me and Kate love to support you, Savva. Great content. Sorry for the super chats. I never met. Mate, don't be silly. Don't be silly. No one ever has to put in massive super chats. Only if people want to and can afford to. That you never have to apologise. You and Kate have been massive supporters for a long time now. And I am really, truly grateful for that. I am. So thank you so much. Never need to apologise. And Flynn has said 70 minutes sub on Perisic, sub off Rich, move Son striker. Yeah, that's what I would have done. But hey, it is what it is. And I would do this next game. I would have Perisic on the left and Son through the middle. But I just don't know if he will do that. But thank you so much for the super chat. I'm going to try and catch up a little bit. I'm still on the comments at 10:41. And there are comments all the way now to 10:51. Liam R. said, Savva, Southampton has played a blinder, getting 10 million more for Lavia than what they valued him at from Liverpool. Has he gone? Southampton have made some money this year, haven't they? 30 million for James Ward-Prowse. They're probably going to get 50 million for Lavia. I think they sold Salisu for 15. They sold Coletta Carr. Did he go to, I want to say Marseille, but I could be lying. Lyon, Marseille, one of those. Lots of people saying Sonny should play down the middle. Of course it was. Of course it was Rico Henry. Yeah, what am I? Of course it was. We talked about him earlier. Yeah, sorry. Don't know why I completely forgot that. I like Rico Henry. I like Rico Henry. I think he's a good player. Do you know what? I'm going to tell you a right back I like that I think goes right under the radar. Kenny Tete at Fulham. Any takers? I watch Kenny Tete. Nothing glamorous. Not a world beater. But I just think does the job. Up and forward. Can defend. I just think he does a job without being a glamorous name. Jimmy has said, Savva, if we sign one more centre-back, I can see us being very good defensively this season, but our problem will be going forward. So ironic. I think we'll get there. I think we'll get there, Jimmy. Look, the window's not shut yet. I think we'll get there. And we have to take time to bed into this formation. And that goes for all the players. But, hey, Nebo has said Bellingham will be world-class sooner than Saka. Look, I just think we put so much emphasis on calling people world-class and wanting them to be world-class. I think it takes years of playing at the top of your game to be world-class. You've got to do it game in, game out. It can't be that someone scores a great goal and we go world class. But it is what it is. Look, listen, I've got a lot of sensible Arsenal mates and I love talking to them about football. But a lot of the YouTube Arsenal fans just constantly, everyone's world class. They're going to win every game. They're going to win the league. It's great. It's good that you support your team, but I do think it's just a little bit premature. 734 of you in the house, 303 likes. 400 of you haven't smashed that like button, so please do. And we are creeping. Look, guys and girls, we are creeping to 9,620. Can we get that to 9,630? I'll put the link in the chat. If anyone could please smash that and subscribe, it would be much appreciated. As many of you know, I have gone full time now with YouTube, so it really, really does help. I'm just trying to catch up. Bandit, I said, I think Brian Hill will do a better job than Kulu in this system. He's better creatively. Spurs should go for Jonathan David to give Richarlison competition. I think it'll be interesting to see what Brian Hill does. He's a very different player to Son and Kulu. For me, I think they're reactive players. I don't think they're proactive players with the ball. I think they're reactive with the ball, which is why I've always thought Son is a brilliant finisher through on goal. I just don't think the rest of his game is quite what people want it to be. But that's just me. It's only me. And listen, I've never changed my opinion on that, have I? I think for anyone who's known me all these years, I've always had that same opinion. Nothing's changed my mind in the last few years on that. Excellent finisher through on goal. I'm just not sure the link-up play. Kulu, my jury has been out from day one. My jury has been out. Luke K said, morning, Sav. I hope you're well. I'm well. How are you? Do you think there'll be another sign-in before the home game on Saturday to improve atmosphere? Quite possibly. Sounds like the sort of thing Spurs and Enoch would do. Look, let's hope that something moves this week. The transfer window shuts in 17 days, is it? Is it 17 days the window shuts in? Don't worry, guys. We'll have Lukaku soon. Well, guys, let's... Jim said, Savva, Richie got in some good positions, but the balls into him were hard. The team will gel. It's going to take time. I agree. I just don't know how good he is. I don't know. I don't know. It's his touch. I don't know. Look, time will tell. Time will tell. One game in. I'm very, very aware that it is one game in. Yeah, Neymar's gone to Saudi. I agree, Phil. I agree. 20 million for Tyler Adams for me would be a very, very good deal. Well, listen, I would guess the whole of Brazil would care. Most of the football world will care. He is the poster boy for Brazilian football. I went to Brazil for the 2014 World Cup. Wow, this boy was everywhere. On every billboard, every shot, it was just Neymar. Neymar was on the side of Coke cans and Mars bars, and it was everything. El Dente, listen, if he goes into that midfield, him and Enzo, and they're brilliant together, they won't care. They won't care, will they? This is the problem. Sorry, I'm trying to get through to as many comments as possible. There's just so many. I do apologize. There'll be loads that I won't be able to read out. Kiwi Yido, I said, hey, Savva, how about the Celso as a Tevez-type striker? I don't know that there's similar profiles for me. I think Tevez was more of a kind of slight in height, but powerful, bullish, driving forward with the ball. And I think Lo Celso's a little bit more intricate and a bit deeper than that in position-wise. But listen, I'll be interested to see what Lo Celso can do. JR, what did JR say? I bet it's going to be, let's see if I can find JR's comment. I can't see it. It's probably going to be something really silly about Son, was it? I don't know. I can't find it, but I'm sure it was silly. JR says, Son has one trick. What are you on about? Dude, he's been world-class he's never been world-class. Listen, I'm really not going to get into this. When you say he has more than one trick, tell me what he does in a game. JR, I'll put that back to you. Please tell me what he does. Name me 3 things he does that are really good. Him and Kulu. I'll leave it there. I agree with it. Yeah, it is what it is. I like him. Again, he's young. Got to give players like that time. But listen, I think that he's a good player. 3 away now, people, from the 9,625. Only 3 away. Thank you so much to everyone. Put the link in the chat. Keep smashing that subscribe button. And thank you very much. Nevo thinks Poch is winning a title with Chelsea next year. A bit early to say that. I think, do you know what? I think this is the pressure that fans put on managers and players. Let Poch do his thing with Chelsea for a year. Again, they're a bit similar to us. Last year, bit of a mess. They need sorting out. Jim has said, Savva, Brighton are so good at buying players cheap and selling high. It's amazing. Levy should take a leaf out of their book. Absolutely. I think it's what we've got to do. I think that's what they probably hope with Valise or Ashley Phillips. But I absolutely agree. I agree. I whenever I've watched him play for Fulham, I think he's a solid player. Oh, there you go. Steve, yeah, I agree. I just think he looks solid. I don't, it's not going to be the most overrated. I'm not going to overrate him. I'm not going to sit here and go, he's class. He just does the job. Jim said, Savva, Kate has mentioned Kenny Tete. Yeah, I think he's underrated. When I watch Fulham, they're very well organised, but I like Robinson and Tete. I think they both do their job week in, week out. Yeah, I like them. Yeah, so absolutely, definitely more positives to take out than yesterday. Let's move to another positive. I thought Mickey van der Ven. If anyone wondered how quick that man was, I think we saw it in short glimpses yesterday. A few balls over the top and Mickey was on it. Very comfortable on the ball. I think everyone saw that, right? Very, very comfortable on the ball. And what he's very good at, there was a couple of examples yesterday, was when the first line of pressing for the opposition came, he didn't just pass it around him, he took him on. He's very good on the ball. He's very good on the ball. But let me know your thoughts. I'll put that out there. I'll get your comments and then we'll get to those in a minute. Amir, yeah, mate, it's thrown around. Anyone who watches me knows I don't rate many players as world class. World class, I'm not going to get into this debate, but for me, you've got to do it week in, week out, year after year. I don't think you can have purple patches. I don't think that you can just, score a few goals. I think you've got to do it year in, year out and terrify teams you play against. Listen, Angus, by getting there, in what way? For me, you've got to step in the big moments. It's about stepping up in the big moments. I like Saka. I think he's a tremendous footballer, but give him time. He's only a youngster. He's still only 21, and I do think that sometimes, Angus, when fans like what you've just done with him, when you put pressure on these younger players, you'll be the first one to knock them when they don't hit those dizzy heights. Everyone did it with Dele Alli. World class. He's going to be the best player ever. And then, everyone wanted to kick him when, let these players grow into it. I don't think he would. No, I don't think he'd put Ashley Phillips in against Man United. I don't. Nick said 70% possession and 18 shots away from home. Good start. Listen, it's getting there, isn't it? It's slowly but surely moving that way. Tete is in your fantasy team, Kate. Yeah, I like Rio Atarte as well. I take him. I'm surprised we haven't taken anyone from Celtic, if I'm brutally honest. I'm surprised that Ange hasn't picked one of them up, but the transfer window's still open. Big up to you, Kate. Hope you're well. I like Locatelli. He's a good player. Yeah, I like Locatelli. Yeah, why not? Yeah, good player. Good player, Steve. I think Tonali's an excellent footballer. Good buy there for Newcastle. Him and Bruno Gomes started to build a nice little midfield there, and Newcastle were very impressive. I think Timber's a good player. I think Urian Timber is a very, very good player. Good price. Good signing for you guys, unfortunately. And in case anyone wants to know, Aberdeen plays Celtic at 12 p.m. on Sky Sports. Is that live at 12 p.m.? Why are they playing on a Monday? Anyway, Liam has said, Savva, after watching the game yesterday, getting a proper 6 next to Basuma, I think you'll see the Brighton Basuma, as in my opinion, he's more of an 8. I completely agree with you. Troy Parrott's probably going to be sold or loaned out. I just don't think he's good enough. I really don't. Raf, again, listen, unfortunately, people who don't understand context, unfortunately, Raf, you've just made yourself look a bit silly here. To be fair, Savva rates Ginola more than Son. Yeah, he's a better footballer. But Sonny has 103 Prem goals and Ginola has 13. I hate to break it to you. They didn't play in the same position. Raf, you're not the brightest. You keep doing this, mate. You keep coming out with these silly comments to try and belittle me. But you must be young. Because if anyone had watched this guy play, they'll know he wasn't a left forward. He was a left winger in a 4-4-2. And in the days of the 4-4-2, wingers weren't getting 16, 17 goals a season. That wasn't how teams played. So, do some research, learn a bit about football, and then come back. But if you're going to try and mug me off, at least know the eras you're talking about. And unfortunately, when you have children in your chat, these are the comments you get, unfortunately. Mark said, if you had 70 million sterling, who are the realistic player and realistic prices you would go for? Lots of people are talking about Orban, aren't they? I would go and get in a Tyler Adams at 20 million, Orban at 30, and leave yourself 20 million to go and buy a proper right back. That's what I would do. But it is what it is. What did I think of Brentford's second goal? No, I don't think that was his fault. He's tried to clear it. He stretched out and, I feel sorry because I think Vicario would have claimed it easily otherwise. But listen, these things happen, man. No, never in a million years. Never want to see that guy at Tottenham Hotspur ever again. Sonny would have got in almost any team his Golden Boot year. He was for sure world class that year. You're not world class for a year. This is what I don't get. You're not world class for a year. You can have a great year. Doesn't make you world class. I think we're just all a bit. I think everyone just wants everyone to be. JR said, hi, maybe I'm biased since Son's my favourite player. Well, it's not maybe, you are. He scores goals, 2-footed, links up well with Kane and has class pace. Okay, so what you've just mentioned there is he scores goals and he's got pace, which is his trick. Quick and scores goals, which is what I've said. The rest of his game leaves a lot to be desired. So for me, yeah, listen, it is what it is. He's got to step up. He's got to step up to the party. He can't have another year like last year. So I'm trying to get to as many comments as possible. I would take Orban. I don't know if Tony is the right fit for this style. I think Tony's a very good player. I think he's a very good player. I don't know whether or not the player fits the setup. But if you got in Ivan Toney, you wouldn't say no, would you? But it is what it is. Troy not good enough. Scarlett has potential. For me, I think Troy Parrott needs to be sold. And I think Scarlett needs a loan. I think Scarlett needs to go and play football. I think he needs to go and play and score some goals. But what he can't do is go out on loan for a year and grab 4 goals. I think he needs to go out on loan. He needs to get himself 14, 15 goals somewhere, then come back. Is he ready? That's what I think we need to do with some of these younger players. Yeah. And I just don't, honestly, the older school, I don't know any older school person that says Son is better than Ginola. Ginola was just phenomenal. Pace, skill, crossing, technical ability, right foot, left foot, just absolute class. Do you know what I really like? If someone's going to cuss me, try and spell it right. God, you're a D-head. You've said. Did you mean dickhead? Did you mean a K instead? Hey. Liam R said Ginola was a baller. If you know the game, then you'll know it's true. I listen. And yeah, he got... Listen, do you know what, O'Neill? I'm all for different opinions. But when people say stupid things, like, oh, he didn't score as many. Well, no, of course he didn't. First of all, Ginola was a left winger, not a left forward. And second of all, look at the teams Ginola played in. Yeah, Ginola was one of the best dribblers in the Premier League history. Absolutely, Foxy. Newcastle fans will tell you, Spurs fans, PSG fans, Ginola was different gravy. I know, GKD. I know. That's how I know how old people are. Yes. Big up to you, Flynn. Another super chat. Thank you. Very kind of you. Said, would Matoma not be perfect left wing for this system? I do. What Matoma gives you is he can go inside, outside. I think he's got that dribbling ability as well. Never going to happen, but yes, you are right. Yeah, don't. Yeah. Yeah. Listen, Sonny's been a very, very good Premier League player. No doubt about it. But depending on how old you are and who you've seen play, I think people should be really careful when comparing others, especially when they don't play in the same position. PJ, it's just like being tall for 6 months. I think on his day, he's a world-class finisher. Yes, I do. Which is why I'd play him through the middle. That's why I'd play him through the middle. Catch 22 gaming. Savva, do you think Rashford will tear us apart next week? Their new keeper plays it out fast. Listen, Rashford will... by the way, is that breaking news that Liverpool have agreed a fee with Southampton for 60 million? Is that right? Let me just double check that for you people. 1 second. Oxlade-Chamberlain has joined Besiktas. Everyone's going out there, aren't they, to Turkey? Looks like Liverpool have agreed a 60 million fee with Southampton for Romeo Lavia. Wow. Perch TV, big up Perchy. Thanks for last night, mate. You helped me out massively there. Ali Gold, St. Ange is already pissed off with Ndombele. Called it 2 months ago. People really thought he would change. He's never going to change. He is the way he is. I agree, Manish. I don't think that pace is there anymore. I don't think he can get past players as easily. Honestly, the Sun fan base is mental. You would think that they're not Tottenham fans. Like, you can't say anything. Like, I'll have a pop at any player. I don't care whether it's Saar, Basuma, Son, Kulu, Kane, Lloris, Romero. I'll have a pop at anyone who deserves to have a pop at. Some people, though, like you can't say anything about Kulu, can't say anything about Son. It's just weird. Not for me. I don't think he's ever been. Just for me, I see so many better footballers than this man. Just saying. Stephen has said Son was injured for most of last year, though. You can judge that. Shouldn't have been playing then, should he? He shouldn't have played. It is what it is. Luton Dan said, VDV to me showed how bad lots of our players are. One game and looked like he cared more than anyone. Vicario is just Gomez. I think this is really harsh on Vicario. I don't know what he's done wrong in his debut. I don't know what he's done wrong. Yeah. If you're better, yeah, absolutely. Listen, at the end of the day, cool. If we want to put players on a pedestal, people want to put Kulu on a pedestal. They want to put Royal on a pedestal. They want to put Son on a pedestal. Remember, cool. Step up and show it. You've got to step up and show it week in, week out. There's too many games now in the last 3 or 4 years where I see Son have brilliant purple patches, then patches where he does nothing, and people still go, yeah, but he's just top players don't do that. How often did you see top world-class players like Xavi, Iniesta, Ronaldo, Messi, Robben, Eden Hazard he dropped off massively, but look at that year when he dragged Chelsea to the title. That's a world-class year. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. But listen, I just either find your form or needs to stop being praised. That's him, that's Kulu, that's Richie, it's all of them. Hollywood Phil said, Ginola all day long. God only knows what he would do in this side. Oh, my God. Do you know what? A lot of these kids, yeah? No, Raf. But you can't use stats of a goal-scoring wide man versus a left winger in a 4-4-2. Their jobs aren't the same, Raf. It's a different era of football. So you can't do that, Raf. How old are you? I'm not being rude. Can you let me know how old you are? Because I think the answer to your question will tell me everything I need to know. Ginola, when he had the ball, he could do anything. Oh, mate, it was just... When the ball got to Ginola's feet, everyone was comfortable that he wouldn't give it away. Everyone was comfortable that he had skill, a twist, a turn, the dribbling. He'd go into 3 or 4 players and come out the other side. And he did it every game. And now it's just like we're just, Savva, don't compare them. Some played as a defensive ball boy his whole career. What? I don't know what that means. I'm so sorry. Yeah, he was good looking as well, wasn't he, old David? Yeah, just listen, I don't even put him in the bracket below. For me, Ginola's up there and the rest of Ginola, Bale, they're in that bracket. They're just beasts of football. Mark said Ginola was just amazing, so gifted. Can't remember being sold to Villa. I cried. Can remember I cried that day. Yeah, George Graham. What was he doing? Balpindra said Ginola versus Son is no contest. I give up with some of our fans. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Let's move on from the he was. We'll move on from the Ginola Son conversation. But yeah, Liverpool have just bought Lavia. Yeah, well, look, Liverpool now have got a good midfield. Lavia, Szoboszlai, McAllister. Chelsea have got Fernandes and Caicedo. Man City is Man City. Arsenal have got Rice, Odegaard, and Partey. I feel we just need one more to complete our three. I really, really do. Big up to everybody in the chat. There's so many people. Tigaro has said, who drew two Brentford defenders and made space for Cootie's goal? Richie is what Ange wants. A true false nine. He creates space. Listen, you're beating this drum. It seems like you're willing to die on this hill. I don't know what anyone's ever seen from him to start thinking goals will flow. He's never been prolific anywhere he's ever been. I don't know why we think he's going to be prolific now. I think if he gets 9 or 10 goals in the season, he'll have overachieved because I just don't think he's that good. But I appreciate the super chat. But if you're going to die on a hill for a player, just remember this, all right? Marcus said, watch all your streams and I have nothing but respect for you. Keep going to 100K. Jesus. You'll get there and your decision to go full-time will be justified. Thanks, Marcus. That is really nice. It's nice every now and then to get some nice words. Otherwise, I just get called a dickhead and they spell dickhead wrong. But hey, it is what it is. Thank you so much, Marcus. It's much appreciated. I know it was Tigaro. I know it was, mate. It's all good. It's all good. And just a girl who loves Spurs said, leave Vicario alone. He did nothing wrong. Jeez. I don't understand how a bloke on his Premier League debut can get so much hate from his own fans. I don't understand any of it at all. I really, really don't understand. But it is what it is. Perchie said his son is world class. I will judge him on a world class standard. No one give Kane excuses last season playing in that team. World class players do it every season. I think this is the key thing. Forget Sonny. This is the key thing. Fans want to put players on this pedestal. Cool. Then they have to perform at that level. But what people do is they put them on that pedestal. Then they've got every excuse in the world when they don't perform at that level. That's not Son. That's all players. That's all players. Saka's another one. Top player. But what you would say is at the end of last season, when Arsenal needed to get over the line, I don't really remember Saka being there. So it's not Son. It's lots of players across the world who get hyped up unbelievably. Sue, I agree. Sections of our fanboys, they will destroy Vicario. I don't understand it. But hey, yeah, he was. If you know, you know. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. Yeah, I mean, if you look at it, I mean, Park Ji-sung might hold a claim to that and say, hang on, I played for Man United, the best team in the world. I won trophy after trophy after trophy and played a lot of games for them. Just saying. But listen, by the way, this isn't, well, there we go. There you go. Exactly. So we can twist whatever we want, but yeah, absolutely, mate. Van der Ven, really comfortable on the ball. Let's get back to him. Really comfortable on the ball. I thought he did well. I thought he did really, really well. Absolutely. I like this. Another maniac has said, you can't compare wingers to inside forwards. Beckham was a winger. Mate, do you know what? I feel that this is the real difference, that people just look back and go, oh, look at those numbers. It's like, yeah, but you've got no idea. Like back in those days, you'll know this, won't you? Back in those days, everyone played 4-4-2. A right winger, a left midfield, right midfield, whatever you want to call them. 2 wingers, 2 centre mids, 2 forwards. And more often than not, you had the one big forward, the one little forward, someone who would knock on, someone who would score. You normally had one who got you 25, 30, and the other one got 12, 13, something like that. Those days are gone, and I think a lot of the kids don't realise that that's how it was. Time out of Don, big up, Alan. Says Savva, player comparisons are ridiculous these days. I was on a stream last night and a Man City fan put Foden on Gazza's level. Yeah, it is mental. It is. I mean, I remember last week, Alan, in here, we had people saying that Paul Gascoigne wasn't world class. Like, you just go, what? Liam R has said, so I'm trying to get to as many comments as possible. Sorry, please bear with me, people. I am trying my best for you. I am trying my best. Guys and girls, we have done... we're flying today. Thank you so much to everybody. Hang on. 9,625. Let's get that to 9,635. The link is pinned in the chat, and I've just put it into the comments as well. So thank you very much to absolutely everybody who has subscribed. And we're at 381 likes. Come on, let's get that to 450 as quickly as possible. And we're going to go for about another 25, 30 minutes or so. But some seeing the same names in here every day. Big up to each and every one of you. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to have fun on the show. Unknown Tomato, love that. Said Lavia from 50 to 60. Casado from 100 to 115. Seems like it's better to buy early. Look, I think what you're seeing here, for me, is a lack of top players around the world and a scramble to pay whatever to get them through the door. I think there's a real shortage of top players across world football. So now clubs know that. Brighton know. Cool. You want Casado? 115 million. Yeah, you want him? You pay for him. Mark said, love watching your blog. At least you have the guts to speak the truth and give opinions other people don't understand. Look, I don't think it's that. It's just I've kind of always been like this, right? Even from young days when I was talking football in the playground or in classroom, and constantly being told off by my maths teacher because I sat next to a lad, a guy called Lindsay Gordon-Thomas, a really good lad he was. Unfortunately, he passed away about 10 years ago. Which was such a shame. He passed away about the age of 29, 30. So rest in peace, Lindsay. He was such a good footballer as well. And we'd sit in the back of our maths class and we had these little yellow maths books. And all in the back of our books was just, what 11 would you play? Who would you play there? Who are you going to buy on Championship Manager? And we got told off every single lesson. Anyway, even back then, all my mates knew that I was never a biased Spurs fan. I was never our players are the best. I call it as I see it. Yeah, I call it as I see it. And some people like that. Mark, you like it. Other people will hate it, which is fine. Yeah, which is fine. But I'm of the opinion that you've got to give players time, right? Like young players especially. Every 18-year-old that bursts onto the scene, they're the next Gaza, the next Messi, the unfair weighted expectation is just bad. Let them learn, let them grow, let them prove it. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to get better, but it is what it is. My mate Rafa's back and said, I'm not denying that Ginola was more talented dribbling-wise, but Son's finishing is probably the best I've ever seen. Son's finishing is the best you've ever seen. I can't take you seriously. The best finishing you've ever seen. What? Like, what? I can't deal with Raf. Again, Raf, you haven't told me what age are you, please? Because, I mean, the best finishing you've ever seen. Sorry, did Harry Kane not exist? Erling Haaland? Listen, if I'm going to start rattling through people that finish, we're going to be here all day. Another maniac said, I'm a United fan, but come here for adult football talk. Savva, one of the best. Thank you very much. Watched your game, was quite impressed. Players are working for Ange. They definitely are working for Ange, and it's definitely going to take time. I think Son was a very good player that I don't think will get back to his best. I think he's lost something. I think there's definitely something's been lost. As I said, I would play him through the middle, Skinny Lee. I'd play him through the middle. I don't think he's a wide man anymore. It's only my opinion. I think maybe against some of the lesser teams like the Lutons and that, he might take them to the cleaners. But I feel like, yeah, just me. Unknown Tomato has said Park is the greatest Asian player in Prem. Even for United, he was good for PSV in the Champions League. Ask Milan fans. God, you know, just honestly, for anyone that's never seen him play, anyone that's never seen this guy play, go and watch him. It's just the control. Yeah, it was. Do you know what? When I used to go, remember Graham, who used to do the shows with me? So Graham and I used to go we had season tickets for donkey's years. Graham and I used to go, and as he was my boss when I was working for Charlton many moons ago, and he always used to say to me, he said, like, watch that player, like during the warm-up, he'd say, watch that player control the ball. And a player would control the ball and they kill it stone dead. And I'd say, yeah, that's good. And he went, okay, now watch Ginola control the ball. And what Ginola did was his first touch didn't kill it stone dead in front of him. His first touch killed it stone dead to where he was next going to go. So different. So it was one touch. The first touch was the control. So it was touch, go, right? And it was one of the first things that opened my eyes to the difference between killing a ball stone dead and setting yourself for the second phase of play. And I just thought Ginola was phenomenal at it. I just thought he was brilliant. His skill, his touch, quick for a big guy. He was quick, powerful, and he got fans off their seat every game. Anyway, moving on from David Ginola. Michael. Okay, so again, let's do history. So first of all, why didn't a bigger club at that time buy Ginola? First of all, PSG were one of the biggest clubs in the world when he played for them. Second of all, Newcastle were challenging for titles when he was there. And third of all, Barcelona did bid for David Ginola, but they wouldn't let him go. Remember what Keegan said? He wouldn't let David Ginola go because he just sold Andy Cole. And if he had let both of them go, the fans wouldn't go to games and he would have, So, look, it is what it is. Side Dancer, 83, I said Beckham was different to most wingers. He didn't beat a lot of players, but he had a hell of a cross. Again, Beckham, completely different winger. I think this is the thing. I think you hit on a great point, Side Dancer. I think this is the thing. Everyone just thinks that if players play in the same position, that they're the same type of player. David Beckham for me. You look, if you had Beckham on the right and Ginola on the left, both doing the same job on paper, completely different footballers. Ginola, skill, mesmeric, two-footed. David Beckham was first touch, cross. David Beckham had one of the best passes of a ball on a cross I've ever seen. But again, so different to Ginola. That's just the way they are. Phil Coys, big up to you, and said, like and subscribe. Get Savva to the deserved 10K. Hashtag hard work pays off. Come on, guys and girls. Yeah, let's do that. We're still there on 9,625. 9,625. Let's get that to 9,635 at least by the end of the show in 20, 25 minutes. The link is in the chat. Let's do this, people. Let's show some love. Tigara, the single parent theory, has said, I will figuratively die on that hill. Remember, we have £10 on it. Richie, 20 plus goals in all comps. Listen, I've never been more certain of winning £20. And by the way, that £20 will be going to a charity, Tigaro. I'll give you the money. You give it to keep it, do whatever you need to do with it. I will put that money into the British Heart Foundation, a charity very close to my heart. No pun intended. But we'll see. We'll see, mate. Flynn has come in and said, Son is the greatest finisher, as in he's finished. I don't think he's finished. I just think that when you lose, when your main asset is your pace and you lose that, reinvent yourself. What you got. For me, reinventing him now would be through the middle. For me. I'm not sure he can do that. We'll see. Look, he's captain. We'll see. If in the next 10 games, Sonny scores 7 goals, gets 5 assists, I'll sit here and go, you know what? Brilliant. I just don't think he's that player anymore. I'm not seeing a lot from him. Not just him. Kulu, exactly the same. I'm not going to die on a hill for Son. I'll die on the hill for all the forwards. Luton Dana said, Savva, do you think the prices have gone up because of the Saudi League in some way? Imagine the pay cut for these players who want to return. I mean, those prices have been going up for a long time, haven't they, mate? But yeah, I hear what you're saying. And yeah, imagine, you're going, I want to come back to England. All right, what are you being paid? I'm being paid 800 grand a week. Oh, we'll give you 200. Like, do you know what I mean? It's going to be, but listen, these guys have made their bed and they're going to lay in them, right? That's how it is. Fair play to anyone that's gone out there. I wouldn't, but it is what it is. Kate, I said, Savva, big teams go and buy players they need. Like Liverpool needed to boost their midfield. Yep. And they've just gone and bought 3 midfielders. Yep. Why don't we need at least 3 players in? Savva says how he sees it. That's why I always watch him. Thanks, Kate. Appreciated. Lots of people think it's negative, but I'll always listen. I'm not afraid to call out any player in world football. I'm not afraid at all. Boom. And 1 second. Yeah, absolutely. Guys and girls, stop. Keep smashing that subscribe button, please. Let's get this to 9,635. And we are currently sitting on 411 likes. The subscribe button is pinned, and I've just put it in the chat. So please be very generous and subscribe. Liam says Sana has no world-class attributes apart from finishing on both feet. And even that isn't even world-class. JR has said, Savva, if we could sign one more player this window before it closes, which currently player linked to us, would you sign? If only could get one. I just don't think we need one. As I said, I would go and get Orbans and Adams and a right back. Orban, probably. O'Neill says, Savva, where did you grow up? Laugh out loud. Is that what Raf said to me? Did Raf ask where I grew up? I don't know. He makes me laugh, that guy. He's always in here saying, I see him in other channels mugging me off in the comments as well. It's funny. Kane is not a better finisher than Son, to be honest. I'm not even going to. No, Son is a better finisher than Kane. I just don't know what I'm reading. Nick, big up. It said 682 watching, only 398 likes. Come on. Yeah, let's do this, people. Let's do this. Oh, he probably is. He's an idiot. I see him in so many shows, but unfortunately, rather than go and learn, people would just say silly things. Matt said, best you've seen. Messi, Lewandowski, and Haaland, to name a modern few. Yeah, he's just crazy, man. Let's not talk about Heung-min Son anymore. So Van der Ven, really, really disappointed that obviously Romero went off injured and we didn't get to see them playing together for too long. It would have been really nice to see how those two bed in and play together. But what did you make of Van der Ven in general? I know that we've kind of moved away from that, but Darth, listen. I'm not going to live and die by stats. I know who I would rather have in front of goal out of Son and Kane, and it would be Kane every time for me. But it is what it is. Greco has said, Savva, someone else is selling a Ginola 14 on the black purple old school Spurs shirt. I think it's an original one for 100. I think you'd love it. It's not mine trying to sell, by the way. Listen, I've got a few Ginola shirts. I should probably put one there, to be honest. Just a joy to watch. And people have got to remember as well that when David Ginola won double player of the year, something I believe that Sonny's never achieved or got close to, when he won double player of the year, Spurs weren't as good as the teams that Sonny's been playing in. Sonny's played in some very good Spurs teams. Ginola didn't. Savva used to do a 90s team versus a 2023 team. Who would be better? God, if we're going to put a 90s team in, I've got already in my midfield, I've got Paul Gascoigne. I would have Ginola on the left, Klinsmann and Sheringham up top, Ginola on the left, Gazza in midfield. Who would I have on the right? Probably Darren Anderton, maybe a Darren Anderton. Who else would I have got? There was all these Naeem and Samways and some top pros. Paul Stewart was a great pro. I'd have Gary Mabbott at the back with Sol Campbell. Gary Mabbott at the back, some proper fullbacks like Justin Edinburgh. Listen, Torjvet in goal. Oh, some great players. We're all subscribed. Everyone couldn't have subscribed. I know that's not true, unfortunately, Stevie C. I do see the stats. Rec has said, Savva, is Gift Orban the right player that we need at the moment, or do you prefer someone else? I think we need someone quick with that movement, if I'm being really, really honest. Rich has said, very improved performance against Brentford. I don't think we deserve 3 points, though. You need to take your chances. Yeah, I mean, you could say on the balance of play, we deserved it, but I agree with you. You've got to finish your dinner. That's absolutely what it's all about. George Best. Well, yeah, there'll be people in here telling me he's not as good as Son. What about a Ginola show? No, it's a lot of the kids that watch wouldn't want to watch it. But Hobbers said we need to use Son in a different way. The wide cutting in is not working. I agree. I've said this the whole way through the summer. I want to see him through the middle. By the way, I've never once said we should sell Son or he shouldn't play, but he shouldn't play on the left. I think he needs to play through the middle, but that's just me. Oh, hang on. You're talking about a great there, aren't you? Figo was just absolutely different gravy. What a player Figo was. You don't play for Barcelona and Real Madrid if you're a mug. David Ginola, Heritage TV. Oh, I loved him. He was just so good. Pierre said Marcus Edwards was mesmerising when he came up at the level he was. Sadly, he let it go to his head while at the under-18s. But happy to see he's found his way. Look, this is the thing. It's always so difficult to judge these young players. But Brazigor said, when I was a kid growing up in Peckham, we all wanted to be Glenn Hoddle. Yeah, well, now we're going to the next echelon of footballer, aren't we? Just so different, so amazing. Moussa Dembele was a top midfielder, brilliant midfielder, just hampered by injuries. Such a shame. Russell said, why does Decky never come over to the left for 10 minutes with only a left foot, could beat a man, whip across it? Do you know what, Russ? I agree. Why not mix them up? Why not mix it up when it's not working? I don't think he is that disrespected. It's just I don't think he's world class. I don't know. This is the problem with people like you. If you say you don't think a player's world class, they're disrespected. No. What I'm saying is we've seen a lot of games now where Sonny's not done anything. He's got to come to the party. So is Kulu. So is Richarlison. Got to come to the party. Van der Ven, a very, very composed footballer. Very composed footballer. Hollywood Phil said Van der Ven looks like he has some of the qualities of Vertonghen with some additional pace. Yeah, I agree. VDV is class. He can progress the ball and is comfortable on it. Absolutely. Anton has said, Maswa, we got Basuma. Absolutely. VDV going to be our Rolls Royce at the back. Tigero, single parent Furious said, I'll give the £20 charity when I win as well. Big up to you, mate. Listen, may the best man win. 20 goals from Richarlison. That's a brave bet you're taking on there. 20 goals. Yep. Pierre said, I used to love David Howes and Vinny Samways, by the way. Appreciate the workhorses. David Howes and Vinny Samways did a great job for Tottenham for many, many years. Proper midfielders, right? Like proper none of this 6, 8, 10, just proper midfielders, got in there, done it all, worked hard, got back, got forward. It is what it is. Where are we? So I'm just trying to take a knot. Said VDV hasn't even been here a week and he looked more comfortable than Sanchez. I just think he's a better footballer than Sanchez, right? I think that, no, I didn't. I just think he's a more comfortable footballer on the ball, isn't he? He's going to have bigger tests, but I thought it was a very assured debut. Yeah, he would. Yeah. As much as we hate Judas, Phil, he was a really good centre-half, wasn't he? He really, really was. Yeah, Eric Torchvet, class. Raf, tell me how old you are. Manish Savva, if we had 30 million for a right-back, who would you bring in? Anyone. I just don't want to see Emerson Royal there. It's just me. I'm just not a fan. I've never been a fan. Sorry, it's just me. People will have a go. But I just think the job that he's now been asked to do, I think you need someone better on the ball as well when they come into midfield. It's just for me. So it is what it is. Daniel says you have to get Orban now. If we want to build, we've got to take these young players before it's too late. I agree with you. Come on, guys and girls. The last 15 minutes of the show, smash that subscribe button. We've got to 9625 and just stopped. Let's get another 10 and get to 9635, and then we can be on target for a Wednesday night 10K party. Raf, come on then. You know I'll let you on. Come on then. Who thinks Raf would come on? Right, here we go. I'm going to put the link in the chat. No one else come on. I'm going to say this. I'm not going to let anyone else come on other than Raf. Let's see you, Raf. Camera on, name in there. Let's see it. Blacker Music has said, if Spurs fans need to be positive now, we have seen the signs. Let's get behind Ange and what he's trying to build. Completely agree with you. Luton Dan has said Basuma is a bit like Dembele. By the way, we all know Raf won't show up, and we all know if he does, he'll say something really silly. Rek has said, can't wait to see VDV against Man U. Savva, that'll be the real test for him to show us his quality. Of course, he's going to have big tests coming up, but we've also got to remember he's very young. He's very young. But I mean, yeah, Chica Popescu, great little footballer. Dumitrescu, yeah, Klinsmann, Sheringham, Barmby, Anderton. God, who else knows? I mean, we had Solis Ferdinand during that era. God, we had some players, didn't we? We had some players. Foxy said, great goal from Bellingham at the weekend. Looks like he's played for years with Madrid. Very good player. Very, very good player, Jude Bellingham. I mean, you can see it in him going to Germany at the age of 16, then now getting a massive move to Madrid. Good luck to the lad. Dave Clark said, Savva is the top lad. He could be a Geordie. He's that type of lad. Mental how people hide in the comments bitching. Savva actually puts his face out there, which isn't an easy thing to do. Raf, if you're 19, cool, come on. That's what I thought. You didn't see Ginola play, did you? That's what I thought. You didn't see Ginola play. But I've given you the link. You asked for it. Now, if you don't come on after asking for it, you look like a bit of a donut, don't you? So it's up to you. Flynn has said, Emerson is good. Keep him as backup. Sell Porro. I mean, listen, he's not going to sell Porro. He's not going to sell Porro. By the way, guys, I'm finishing in 10 minutes. Anyone else coming into the chat? 3 people have come into the back. I'm not letting anyone on other than Raf. I'm not letting anyone on other than Raf, please, because I am going to go in 10 minutes. I've got another stream with Saeed TV at 10. So the 3 people who are in the back stream, please note, it's nothing personal to anyone. I am not letting anybody on other than Raf for 5 minutes so he can destroy me. But we'll wait and see. We know he won't come on. Yeah, Goff, Pat Van Den Hal. Yeah, Spurs had some top players. We really, really did. I have an opinion on Son's goal. Shouldn't be just an opinion. Now I have a copycat account. Mate, welcome to putting your... When you put a point across, Raf, this is what all of us YouTubers have to deal with. You put your point across, people don't like it, they make fake accounts about you. You kept coming in and trolling, people are going to troll you back. It's not right, but it's what they do. Nicholas Nichols, I'm very well today, thank you. I've got a very busy day. I have got Saeed at 12 o'clock on his channel. Me and Kaz from Never a Foul are live at 2 p.m. on this channel. And then we've got the Premier League roundup show at 6 p.m. And then I'll be on with Holly's Hotspurs at 7. And then I'm doing nothing this evening. Big up to everyone inside. There's still over 685 people. See, stupid people in the chat. Somebody has just joined called Savva's Left Bollock. I mean, it's so childish. You're just going to get kicked. So either grow up or Raf, you can come on. But whoever that is, grow up. It's so pathetic. Of course he won't. Of course he wouldn't. Of course he wouldn't. Of course he wouldn't. Guys and girls, I do try and work hard. I do try and work hard. Last thing I'd say about yesterday's game, Adoji, yeah? I thought he looked good. I thought he looks powerful for someone so young. He looks quick, powerful. He works hard. And it is what it is. What did you make of him? What did you make of him? Anyone else impressed? Anybody else? Pay me. I said, Messi World Cup picture. I like it. The man clocked the game. Go. Oh, listen, he's a different level. Tottenham forever. I said, would you take 5th place in the league and an FA Cup and League Cup all day, every single day? Absolutely. Reece Burke says, Savva, who wins the UEFA Super Cup, City or Seville? City. I think City will have way too much for them. Neo Yami said Adoji looked class. Looks good for Adoji. Adoji can defend. Adoji was throwing around Mbomo, so physical at 20 years of age. Savva pivot and randomly let one of these people on and they'll crack themselves. Yeah, I did, but they didn't. It's all fine. Beyond 72 has said, very impressed with Adoji. Now I want a right back. Taken Not has said Adoji was extremely good for a young guy making a Prem debut, playing that inverted role. really promising and seems to have great potential. Yeah, let's get behind him. Let's hope that is his spot now. Let's hope that we don't go back to seeing Serge Reguilon or Sessegnon there. Neo has said, Ronaldo over Messi for me. I only say this because Ronaldo has done it everywhere. But Messi's done it against everyone. Like, Messi's done it in the Copa America, the World Cup, the Champions League, the league. I don't know why. I listen, each to their own. But Lionel Messi, every time he played against English opposition, just made them look silly. So this whole thing, could he have done it in another league? Of course he could have. He's the best player that's ever walked, played the game. Just a girl who loves Spurs. Big up Kate. Said Adoji looks so much older, such a mature performance and so comfortable in this position. I do agree with you. That gamer guy says Adoji seems to have filled the gap we had at left back. I agree. William has said with a winger that can take on his man, Adoji will thrive. Shane has said, do you think there's any Celtic players that we could poach that knows Ange's tactics and is a proven player? Maybe Hatate would be one. Maybe, just saying. Joe Black, that's the film, isn't it, with Brad Pitt, said Adoji is Walker-esque. Yes, a lot of pressure to put on him, but yeah, I see what you're saying. See what you mean. Christopher LaPlante, big up to you, Christopher, who's a channel member, has said, I thought Adoji played fantastic. Good pace and defended really well. Angus has said, watch Saka and Martinelli destroy your fullbacks. Okay, we'll watch. Kyogo, I would take him all day long. Rek said, Savva, what do you think of Kudus? Would he fit the system and you prefer him as a player for Tottenham? I think he's a good player. Does he fit the system? Would he get in the way of Maddison too much? Don't know. Hey now, kids, Ginola Messi. I don't think anyone said that. Lionel Messi's the greatest player I've ever seen play. Come on. Let's not be silly now. Glenn has said, you are my destiny. You are my Doji. Brilliant. Love that. Lots of people saying, yeah, Hatate. Absolutely. Apparently it wasn't Raf. It was a fake account. It's fine. Doji is world class. Bazoma was world class yesterday. Please, can we stop throwing around this world class term? Please. Guys and girls, we are going to leave it there. We will be back tomorrow. Okay, we will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. for a Tuesday morning chat with Savva. Between now and then, I will change the Harry Kane picture because he is the picture for Mondays. I think Sunny is Tuesdays, maybe. Is it Sunny or Basuma? One of them is tomorrow. Please let's, before everyone leaves, we're on 452 likes. We should get that to 500. And if we can get 6 more people on their way out, 5 more people, look, we can get to 9,635 and it'll be a 35 sub morning. Big up to each and every one of you. Really enjoyed the chat. I'm sure there'll be more news for us to discuss tomorrow. Really appreciate your time. Much love. And as always, come on, you Spurs.